Let's now just do a couple of practice problems using the distributive property. So after I write down each problem, pause the video, see if you can work it out, and then you can follow my solution. So for the first one, we're going to pretend we're trying to do some mental math, and we have 71 times 99. We had a similar problem in a previous video. So pause the video and try to work this one out. Okay, so obviously you could write it out as a multiplication problem and probably do it relatively quickly, but if you didn't have a calculator or a piece of paper handy, you could think of this possibly as 70 plus 1 times 100 minus 1. When you do that, you will first take 70 times 100 and get 7,000, and then you will take the 70 and multiply it by -1. So you will subtract 70, and then you would take the 1 times the 100, and that would end up giving you plus 100, and then you would finally have 1 times -1. You don't need to draw in the arrows like I am, but I'm just showing you what I'm actually doing here. So you would then have 7,000. I would probably then change it. If I was doing mental math, I would probably add the 100, then subtract the 70, and then subtract the 1. So I'd 7,100 minus 70, 7,030 minus 1 is 7,029. So that's a way to use the distributive property to make that easier. You also could have divided it up and said 71 times 100 minus 1. That would also be relatively easy to do in your head if you had to. So problem number 2. Let us do the following. A binomial times a binomial. So the quantity x minus 1 times the quantity 3x minus 2. Pause the video and work it out. Okay, so here's my solution. Look at each and every combination of terms. So I will take the first term in the first factor and multiply it times the first term in the second factor, and that gives me 3x squared. And then I will take the first term in the first factor times the second term in the second factor. And make sure you pay attention to the minus sign here. That's always something to look out for. So I get minus 2x. Now I'm going to switch over to the second factor. Make sure you note that that's a minus 1. Okay, the second term of the first factor, and I'm going to multiply that times the 3x, and I will get a minus 3x. And then I will turn around and take that and multiply the -1 times the -2, the last of the factors. And notice it was a negative, so I get plus 2. Now I could obviously simplify this by combining the like terms, and that ends up giving me a second degree polynomial, 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. We're going to look at those kind of expressions a lot in the upcoming videos. Let's do one final example. So let me write it down. Actually, let me clear it out. The final example I want to look at is a monomial, 3x cubed, times a binomial, the quantity 2x minus 2, times a trinomial, the quantity x squared plus 4x minus 1. So pause the video and see if you can work this out. Now you have a couple of options when you go to work this out, but I think the best thing to do is start with the harder part of the multiplication and save the easy part for the end. So in other words, let's hold off on the monomial and let's simply rewrite it. And now what we're going to do is work out the product of the binomial and the trinomial. So starting with the 2x, we'll pair it with each and every term in the last factor, and 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times 4x is plus 8x squared. And 2x times negative 1, watch for that negative sign, is minus 2x. Now we will take the second factor in the binomial, which is minus 2, and multiply it times each term in the trinomial. And minus 2 times x squared is minus 2x squared. Negative 2 times 4x is minus 8x. And negative 2 times negative 1 is plus 2. Now it's relatively easy. Well, let's first of all see if we can combine any like terms. And clearly we have an 8x squared and a negative 2x squared. And we have a negative 2x and a negative 8x. So we can simplify this before doing any further multiplication. So let's just rewrite the 3x cubed. B times 2x cubed plus, looks like we will have a remaining 6x squared terms because we had 8 minus 2 of them. And then we have minus 10x because we had negative 2x and negative 8x and plus 2. Now it will be easy to finish up because we just need to take the product of the monomial times each and every term in what's now the polynomial. And once again, you don't have to draw the arrows in. I'm just showing what we're doing. So the first product would end up giving you a 6. X cubed times x cubed is x to the 6th, plus the second would be 18, and then we'll have 5 factors of x when you take x cubed times x squared, minus 30. X cubed times x gives us an x to the 4th, or 4 factors of x, plus 6 times x cubed, because we have 2 times 3 times x cubed. So that would be the final answer when you are asked to expand the monomial times the binomial times the trinomial that was given.